Hello fans and friends, and welcome to another video. My name's Keir Smith. For today's video I'd like to talk about my favourite song ever. It's Time by Pink Floyd. In my last video I gave my thoughts on the new Roger Waters version of the song Time from his upcoming The Dark Side of the Moon Redux album. I figured if I can give my time and attention to the recent Roger Waters version, then it's high time that I gave my full attention to this magnificent song that I cite as my favourite song ever. And of course, it's so difficult to single out just one song from all of the amazing music that I've heard in my life, but this song has continuously blown my mind for over 2 decades now. Time is a moment in time when Pink Floyd all pulled together as a team and worked famously together to create this outstanding masterpiece. I first heard Time when I was 17 years old. I'm 42 now, so some 25 years ago. I'd bought The Dark Side of the Moon, my first Pink Floyd album, because I'd read so many great things about it. But when I first listened to it, I didn't like it. I don't think I was ready for it. I was still basking in the glory of the Beatles' Summer of Love stuff. I wasn't ready for these songs and themes of greed, corruption, war, lunacy, and death that hang so heavy on The Dark Side of the Moon. But the album did have an impact on me. I slowly got into Pink Floyd. I remember buying Wish You Were Here next, and I liked that straight away. It seemed much more accessible to me. And so after liking that, I then went back to The Dark Side of the Moon, and Time quickly became the standout track. It was the lyrics to Time that hit me first, and more so the language used by Roger Waters that describes the boredom of a regular day. That opening verse, ticking away the moments that make up a dull day, you fritter and waste the hours in an offhand way, kicking around on a piece of ground in your hometown, waiting for someone or something to show you the way. Now, when I was young, I foolishly thought that. I thought that something would happen or something would turn up and show me the way to go in life. And of course, it never did. But in any case, you are young and life is long and there is time to kill today. And life is like that. And I'm sure whoever's watching this video will be able to relate to these words. You think you've got all the time in the world. There is time to kill today, every day. And I think that these lyrics are so great because they're so true. Then one day you find 10 years have got behind you. No one told you when to run. You missed the starting gun. And that lyric in particular seemed to hit me like a hammer to the head. And I remember sitting in the living room of the flat I shared with my ex-girlfriend at the time, watching the making of the Dark Side of the Moon DVD. And Roger Waters is talking about the song Time, and he said that when he was young, his mother was obsessed with preparing for the future, preparing for the life that was to come. And I think that Roger said that he was 29 when he wrote the lyrics to Time, and he suddenly realised that life was happening all of the time, and at any point you can grasp the reins and change the direction in which your life is going. And it was at that moment specifically that the song Time really struck a quite frightening chord with me. I was 28 and I realised that I'd not spread my wings at all, really. I'd not really tried to do anything or achieve anything. I was still stuck in that first verse, waiting for someone or something to show me the way. You run and you run to catch up with the sun, but it's sinking and racing around to come up behind you again. And I do that. I run and I run and I catch up or try to catch up and try to make up what I think is lost ground. Every year is getting shorter, never seem to find the time. Plans that either come to naught or half a page of scribbled lines. Hanging on in quiet desperation is the English way. The time is gone, the song is over. Thought I'd something more to say. I do have this terrible, creeping malaise that says to me, I will get to the end of my life and think, bloody hell, I really wish I'd done this, that, and the other. Admittedly, it sounds depressing, but as Roger said, at any point you can grasp the reins and change the course you're on. So they are the lyrics, but what about the music? Safe to say, it's equally sensational. It opens with the layers of clocks that were pieced together by the great Alan Parsons, and that's followed by Nick Mason's skillful rototom drum solo that happened by chance. Some rototoms had been left behind at Abbey Road, Studio Number 3. Nick Mason found them and put them to seriously good use. And that intro sounds so menacing. But aside from that, Richard Wright's playing some really nice twinkling parts on the keys. And then Nick Mason's drum roll leads into the verse, and Dave Gilmour's voice comes in so strong and powerful. Richard Wright's organ chugs alongside Dave Gilmour's classy lead guitar licks. It sounds great immediately. Richard Wright's vocal is beautiful when he sings Tired of Lying in the Sunshine, Staying Home to Watch the Rain. And those phased female backing vocals always sounded a bit terrorised to me. They always frightened me ever so slightly when I was young, but they soar beautifully into Dave Gilmour's incredible guitar solo. That solo, oh my goodness. I love guitarists, I love guitars, and I love guitar solos. And this one is the very best. I always hear this guitar solo as three parts. It takes off, it's strong, it bites, it hits you, and then it soars. It really takes flight. It wails and screeches. And then the third part, as it comes down into more melodic playing. For me, the solo goes up and it comes down in the most perfect way. The way Gilmour blasts, holds, and bends the notes. Each note is pristine. It's remarkable. It's my favourite moment on a Pink Floyd record. And I was somewhere near the height of my fascination with Pink Floyd when, in late May 2006, I saw David Gilmour live on his On an Island tour. It was at the Royal Albert Hall in London. I went on my own and he played Speak to Me, and that went into Breathe from The Dark Side of the Moon. And then he played Time. And I must confess, when he played it and that solo kicked in, I cried. That guitar solo is so fierce and yet so emotional to me. It gets me every time. I absolutely adore it. And then just over a month or so later, at the start of July 2006, I went to Hyde Park, London to see Roger Waters with his backing band perform the whole of The Dark Side of the Moon. This time I went with a few mates. And we got to the song time, and of course it was amazing all over again. And the guitarist played a superb solo, but for me it wasn't quite as good, having seen Dave Gilmour play it. But I digress. Back to the studio version of the song. I do love that bit when Gilmour sings, "You run and you run to catch up with the sun, but it's sinking." He stretches his vocal that bit more. It's raspier and more urgent, which fits the lyrical content so well. And that's followed once again by Richard Wright's beautiful, soft tones. Every year is getting shorter, never seem to find the time. And that's met by a sympathetic female wail that is a really nice addition. It comes in at the perfect time. And Gilmour and Wright's vocals blend together beautifully in harmony as they sing, "Hanging on in quiet desperation is the English way." And shortly after that, the song is over. And of course, we get the Breathe reprise tagged on the end of Time, which gives us the chance to exhale after the intensity of Time. Time is the only song on The Dark Side of the Moon that's credited to all four members of the band, and they all add vital ingredients that make up this amazing song. My favourite song ever, Time. It is dark, it's intense, it's incredibly powerful, and the song continues to move me even after all these years. But it's a philosophical teaching to seize the day. For me, Time is a truly exceptional piece of work. The lyrics are honest, direct, and true, and the music absolutely breathtaking. Thanks as always to everyone who watched this video. Don't fritter and waste the hours in an offhand way. I'll see you on the dark side of the moon. Bye for now.